Hey everyone, it's Ryan Parrish back with your weekly Sports Roundup. Let's get you caught up on some of the action from the last week. Over the weekend, the cross-country team traveled to Sioux Falls, South Dakota to compete in the Nike Heartland Cross Country Classic. The boys team was entered into the Rising Stars competition. That's a competition for sophomores and younger, and came away with first place out of 27 teams. And 255 runners total. Some of the tryout runners included McCabe Shumway coming in second place, Gunnar Alvarado coming in fourth, and Leif Larson coming in 22nd. Also participating and getting good finishes for the Coyotes were Finn Krenz, Tyrell Ackman, and James Powers. The Coyotes took 3 girls to the tournament, and in a field of 130 runners, Lainey Lufgren finished in 7th, Caitlin Hall finished in 44th, and Sarah Waterud finished 85th. The Tetons basketball teams traveled to Powell, Wyoming over the weekend. The men's team went 1-1, dropping their first game against Northwest College, but then winning a 105-80 victory over a group of Wyoming All-Stars. The women's basketball team dropped both of their games. The Coyotes swim and dive team traveled to Bismarck to compete in the state meet this last weekend. For my interview this week, I sat with Joe Kemp and talked to him about how it went.
Friday started off really well. Ellie Schmidt had a really nice 200 freestyle. Just first thing to start off the meet, and I was kind of thinking, holy crap, the taper works. This is going to be a fun day. She missed qualifying by about 3/4 of a second. With the time she swam last year, she would have been in easily. She would have been ranked about probably 12th. She would have been in by a good 2 seconds. But this year, everything was just so much more competitive. So she just missed out. That was a little bit disappointing, but we were happy with the swim. Brandy Logan made it into finals in that same event, so we were good with the way things started. Marissa Branham then in the 200 IM had a great swim. She came in ranked dead last and moved up quite a bit. She cut a full 5 seconds and swam a really fast time. She's really good. And then the 50 free hit, Jenny Logan came out of nowhere, qualified 4th in finals. He's a huge swim for her. Jess Parker cut a lot of time in the same event. Abby McCall did well, and then Demi Peterson, who I kind of based the taper off of, and who works harder than anybody on the planet. She got in and didn't have the same. She cut just a tiny bit of time, but did not have the swim that we were hoping for and the swim that she deserved. So that was a bit of a gut shot. She made consolation finals, placed 11th in that event, but I goofed up her tapers, so I felt just terrible about that because she deserves more than anybody to have a lot of success. And then after that, so that kind of took the wind out of our sails a little bit. Demi was in the very next event after a 15-minute break, got her 3rd place ranking, made 2nd team All-State, but her goal was to go under a minute, and she went 1 minute .03. So again, you know, she was right there, but just I have a feeling she peaked on Monday or Tuesday, and that was completely my fault. And I've done that with her taper once before too, so I should have known better. But so I felt terrible about that. The other girls, Torgan Knudsen had a great day. Mandy Tibor had a solid swim. Jenny Logan, like I said, holy crap, had a good day. Shauna Daly, another girl who works really hard. She was in position to maybe sneak into finals, and she had a decent swim. She came in ranked a certain place, stayed at that same place. So it wasn't bad, but I feel like she peaked on Monday, Tuesday as well. So she deserved to do way better than where she ended up. But I just felt terrible about that. That was completely my fault. And what happens on Friday kind of sets you up for Saturday, because where you rank on Friday, you're kind of locked into a certain group, either championship finals, the first 8, or consolation finals, 9 through 16. And if you place 9th, even if you swim a faster time than anyone in the championship finals heat on the 2nd day, you can't move up at all. So we got locked in to kind of a tough spot for Saturday. Yeah, just a few things. Torgan Knudsen, I put her in back-to-back events. She actually swam very well, but again, you can't swim a 500 free and then a 100 back and then a 400 free relay all within about 20 minutes. You're just going to run out of steam at some point. So going into Saturday, people swam hard, did decent, but we got locked into a tough spot on Saturday.
For sure. So you guys finished 8th. Your goal this year was to kind of get up higher in those state rankings.
Right.
So, and you have a pretty young team. I mean, that sounds like Brandy Logan's kind of the only senior really that is moving on. So did you guys have a discussion after the weekend and about where you guys want to be next year?
Yeah, so there was, we got on the bus Saturday after the meet. We placed 8th, which we improved by 3 places from last year. We were right in the running for top 5, just fell, 20, 30 points short. And there was like a kind of a moment of silence. I think there was a lot of people who kind of wanted to come and cuss me out a little bit. But after about 20, 30 minutes, I went back to talk to some of the kids, just, while it's still fresh in your memory, how do you feel about the season? How do you feel about taper? What can we do differently? And the discussion, everyone kind of grouped up, and the discussion went from there to, just holy crap, we lose Brandy's points and Brandy, her leadership and all that, which will suck. But, we've got like 35, 40 other kids who were just like, you're definitely going to score points next year. You're going to be scoring points. You're going to be scoring points. Then we started to look at other teams in the state. A lot of teams over the next 2 years are going to be losing some of their leaders, some of their top point scorers. So our team is setting up over the next couple of years to really, if we can stick together, stay focused, and buy into the program, it's going to be so much fun. So that was a nice consolation to have a conversation like that on the way home. And it's good to see the kids' maturity where they're like, you know what, this year hurt a little bit. The way this year ended hurt a little bit because they worked so hard and we just missed the taper by a little bit. And I put some people in bad events at state. But it was really nice for me as a coach to see their maturity and say, we forgive you, and look forward to the future. We have the longevity, we have we're able to delay gratification, we're willing to buy into the program again, work hard, and we believe that we're going to have success.
Several high school winter sports get underway this weekend. For the Coyotes wrestling team, the action starts on Friday when they travel for a match against Minot. They'll stay in Minot for Saturday where they will have a varsity tournament. Also this weekend, the boys hockey team will travel to Bismarck to compete in a couple of scrimmages. The first will be against Bismarck Century, and they will also face Bismarck High School. The girls hockey team will also host a scrimmage here in Williston. They will go up against Dickinson and Minot. The Tetons basketball teams will travel to Miles City, Montana this week. On Friday, the men's team will take on Miles City, and on Saturday, Casper. For the women's team, they will take on NHSC on Friday, and then Eastern Wyoming on Saturday. And finally this weekend, the Mon-Dak Thunder advanced to the state final for the 2nd year in a row. This year they will face a familiar foe in Bridger. They've played Bridger 4 times in the last 2 years, including once earlier this season where they came back from a 22-0 deficit in the first quarter to win in overtime. This is the 3rd time in 4 years the Thunder have advanced all the way to the state final, and they believe this year will be their year. Talking to the coaches, Troy Walter and defensive coordinator J.R. Johnson, they said the focus this week is to keep the players relaxed and just keep focusing on the task at hand, taking one play at a time and one series at a time. A big part of keeping the players relaxed, Walter said, is just sticking to tradition. Halfway to Bridger, they'll stop and do a walkthrough in a town somewhere in Montana, and then on Friday night, the team will go out and see a movie, as they do every time they have a travel game. Walters believes his team is ready this year because they have been there before, and they know what to expect. For Bridger, it's the first time they'll have a state final in any sport. Walter said he's just trying to enjoy the moment. Early on in his coaching career, he was on a team as an assistant coach that was continually competing for the state title. He said he would always get worked up for those games and be focused so much on the games that he was unable to enjoy the moment, until his head coach at the time advised him that he should take the time to appreciate the players that he has with him because they will not always be around. Walter said win or lose, he's just happy to see his team smiling, knowing that they've done so well this year. All right. Well, that's it for the roundup this week. This weekend I'll be in Bridger coloring the Thunder, so look forward next week to some interviews with Coach Walters and several of the Thunder players.